What's up, my Central Units? It's the Central Man here. So, back again with another weekly review of NWA Powerr, episode 5. So, it was premiered last night on the 5th of November. For the UK viewers who saw last night's Powerr, this was the Bonfire Nights addition to this week's NWA Powerr. So, the commentators for the show are Jim Cornette and Joe Gailey. So this week's Powerr kicked off with the opening interview segment with Dave Marquez interviewing the number one contender for the NWA National Championship. That is Colt Cabana. Basically, he was overhyping about the last week's main event. Said I'm gonna beat Jane Storm, becoming what I did for years, becoming a main eventer. Unfortunately, this is a spoiler alert. The NWA National Championship match was not the main event. Sorry, if you haven't saw this week's Powerr. Yeah, basically overhyping. Facing I'm gonna beat Jane Storm, something like that. Not really. I'm not gonna crap on it. Crap on the opening segment or the open interview segment, but the promo was okay. It was good. The fans were, they were into it. Moving on to another interview segment with Dave Marquez interviewing Aaron Stevens over last week's match between him and Ricky Starks. Starks beating Stevens in his first NWA match on NWA broadcast on YouTube. I'll almost say on TV because it's not on TV, it's on YouTube. Stevens was a little bit pissed off. He said he demanded a rematch between him and Ricky Starks. NWA he's basically he's kind of protesting. He wants a rematch, but he said about I wasn't ready. Ring rust, and the fans were booing Aaron Stevens. Stevens tell the fans to silence, and I think he called him ignoramus. If you watched WWE back in 2012, Aaron Stevens was the formerly known as Damien Sandow. And he's really entertaining. He's over. People are booing him out of the building. And they said I got a contract by Hollywood. If they're not promising me anything, I will leave for Hollywood and never return to pro wrestling ever again. So this is not the last time we'll see Aaron Stevens in this week's Powerr. And then we got a segment with Nick Aldis promoting Retromania. Retromania is an arcade wrestling game. It's coming out in 2020. It's available for the PlayStation 4. Can't wait. The opening match of this week's Powerr. We got the Dawsons taking on Mins and Jordan Kingsley. This match was a squash. The Dawsons got the win, and then you had Dave Marquez interviewing the Dawsons. Said about we demanded he said about bringing it. It didn't mention Kingston and Homicide's name. They said we beat the number one contenders last week. We beat every tag team, and you got Eddie Kingston, Homicide showing up. They demanded another rematch between with the Dawsons, and the Dawson says, "Oh, we think about it," and then they kindly walked away. And this is not the last time we see the Dawsons on this week's Powerr. Okay, and then we got the women's match. We got we haven't got we got the women's match. We got another interview segment. This time with Joe Gailey interviewing Tim Storm. They're basically talking about the world title match from the first episode of Powerr, and he made that terms he'll never challenge for the world title ever again. And then you got Nick Aldis showing up and talked to Tim Storm privately. Said, and they're kind of interviewing. No, they're kind of talking near the interviewing area or the commentary area. Said we built this house. Don't let Eli Drake waltz in there. I'm guessing Nick Aldis is playing some mind games. We do not know. We have to wait to play out. I'm guessing. And then we got the women's match. Yeah, we got Ashley Fox taking on Thunder Rosa in her in-ring debut. She made a debut last week on Powerr. The match was decent. Ashley Fox, she had some offense off her own. She hit this. She put her in that submission hold. This is like a half chicken ring submission hold. I think the announcers call it the rich patch or the rough patch. Anyway, yeah, Thunder Rosa, really thought out of that submission hold. In the end, she hit the I think it was a double knee stump onto Fox to win. No, not Fox like Alicia Fox, but Ashley Fox. Don't worry, they're not related. They're not brother and sister. It's just a different wrestler with a same related name. Anyway, Thunder afterwards. Thunder Rosa attacked Ashley Fox. Punching her. Then you got Marty Bell. Came to the rescue, and then Thunder Rosa left. And then afterwards, you had Dave Marquez interviewing Marty Bell, and Marty Bell said some mention about Ashley Kay. Said we're friends. She said about why she's not trusting me. She said I'm not ready, and I'm sick of people said not believing in me and me believing in myself. And then you got Ashley, and then you got Allison Kay, the women's champion. She had one or two sentences, and then I think she said this is not Dr. Phil, and then she got attacked from behind by Thunder Rosa. Rosa kind of thrown Allison into the ring post, dragged her into the ring. Marty Bell came to the ring at the same time, thought she's going to say her best friend, and also in that promo she said it. I'm guessing she's Hispanic. She's black, but I think she's black Hispanic. She mentioned she's supposed to be her friend. Thought Marty Bell going to save her, but instead, it was a swerve. She turned on Allison Kay. I think she did a drop kick on her, and that's it. I think it makes sense because she's kind of like didn't really despise Allison Kay because she's holding her back. Said she don't have any faith with her. I'm guessing like Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa are probably in cahoots. I'm guessing like Allison Kay and Ashley Fox are baby faces, and Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell are heels. I thought Marty Bell would be a baby face. Unfortunately, now she just turned heel. Okay, and then we got Aaron Stevens versus Ricky Starks. This is the rematch from last week's Powerr, and then you got Aaron Stevens in his robe, really calling Ricky Starks a knave. You cannot beat me in a 2 out of 3 pinfall match, and that's the rematch, a 2 out of 3 pinfall match. And quickly, like about 5 to 10 seconds, Starks really rolled up Stevens for the first pinfall. It was back and forth between Starks and Stevens. In the end, I think he was going for the Topi. Starks says I think he was going for the Tobito Akiat, and Stevens says you cannot beat me. I'm guessing Starks did the small package onto Stevens to pin Stevens again for the second pinfall and beat Stevens 2 weeks in a row. And then we got the NWA National Championship match. James Storm, the current champion, defended the belt against Colt Cabana. You got Eli Drake onto James Storm's side, and then you got Mr. Anderson, Colt Cabana's tag team partner, in his side. This match was back and forth. I think this was match of the night. It was back and forth between Cabana and Storm. Storm did the iron off the Storm. And then you had Eli Drake trying to do some ring interference. And then Storm and Anderson kind of pulled him off the ring apron. They're both like bickering. I thought they were going to be a fight. Unfortunately, Anderson basically confronting Eli Drake. And then all of a sudden Camille kind of pushed Eli Drake onto Mr. Anderson. Cabana did the Superman roll-up onto James Storm. Pinned James Storm and regain the NWA National Championship. Because, yeah, in the story, like, Storm beat Cabana for the first time. That was like months ago. And now, in this week's Powerr, Colt Cabana basically regained the belt. So I'm guessing they're going to do the third match probably in the pay-per-view in this next month. Wait to find out. Camille showing up. 50-50. I'm guessing it plays a big part of what's going to happen next week. I'm guessing Nick Aldis cost Jane Storm the NWA National Championship. You know, I'll do a future video in a different time. So, moving on to the main event. Yeah, like the Dawsons come around says they'll decide if they're going to face Eddie Kingston and Homicide. They said we're not facing them next week. We're facing right now. And then all of a sudden, this match was turned into a brawl in the first beginning of this match. It was a brawl, and then it was a good match. This was a really good match. Really good match, back and forth between both tag teams. The ending was not really much memorable. You had like the wild card. I'm guessing the announcers called Homicide and Kingston the Outlaws. Yeah, the wild cards. The wild cards, that is Tommy Latimer and Isaac Royce. They're kind of like showing up. They did trying to interfere, but unfortunately they got stopped by the Rock and Roll Express. They chased away the wild card. That they are the tag team champions. I think like the Dawsons were going for the tag team finisher, but instead Homicide got out of the way, hit the Gringo Cutter pin. I think it's the bald-headed Dawson or the long-headed Dawson with the beard twin to win this match, and now they are #1 contenders for the NWA Tag Team Champions. So I'm guessing I think they're gonna do a three-way for the tag team belts, probably at the pay-per-view in December. I think it's going into that direction, a triple threat. You know, between the Wild Card, the Outlaws, and the Dawsons. You know, can't wait. So Billy Corgan booked this match. So anyway, overall, this week's Powerr. My final thoughts for this week's Powerr. I think this was a good show. Not a great show. It wasn't a bad show. It wasn't a great show. It was another good show by the NWA. It'll take some time. I'm not gonna say, you know, if they're not gonna do weekly shows next week, at least they tried. At least Billy Corgan tried to put on a good wrestling show. You know, but unfortunately, you know, it'll take some time. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be mainstream. It's not gonna be like NWA, you know, not NWA, AEW. You know, these people think this is better than AEW. Unfortunately, that's not the case. AEW, you know, it's had some momentum since the start of the year. You know, with NWA, man, it picks some time. You know, they got some good views on YouTube. You know, they're not going to get a million views, you know. If they got a million views every week doing their weekly shows, hey. If not, who cares? I think they're still putting on good shows. It'll take some time. The ring quality is not. I think the in-ring, the match quality it's not there yet, but it's getting there. You know, the entertainment is okay. You know, like and by the way, the Dawsons lost their first match on NWA Powerr broadcast. You know, I'm still rooting for the Dawsons. You know, they could be future tag team champions. So yeah. Okay, that was this week's review of this week's Powerr. Hope you enjoy it. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. We see you next week for NWA Powerr. This is the Central Man, officially signing out.